Woohoo! Hi there, long time no see. So the reason I haven't made YouTube videos lately is mostly because I've focused on writing blog posts instead. So if you want more updates on the balloon shooter game, check out all the blog posts I've written. There's a link in the description. So in this episode, you'll see me working on new balloon spawning behavior. I'll start by making some refactorings to make the change easier to make, and then I'll make the easy change. Enjoy! So let's have a look at the current state of the game. So this is it. We have a balloon going across the screen, we have arrow, and we have a score. So we can shoot arrows, multiple arrows, and when we hit the balloon, we get a score. We get 1 point. We can also turn to aim in different directions, and we can get more points. We can also control the arrow with the gamepad. So you can turn and shoot with the gamepad as well and get more scores. But currently there is not really a point of turning, because the arrow goes just across, the balloon goes across the screen, and we could just wait until the right moment and fire then. So in this episode I want to work on balloons actually falling down the screen. So say for example one balloon is coming down here, you need to turn left in order to hit it when it's down here. And maybe we can also spawn multiple balloons. Maybe there are 2 balloons flying down at the same time, and maybe the number of balloons in the air simultaneously will increase the further you go, something like that, to make the game a bit harder. Anyway, that's what I want to work on in this episode. So there is a class in here called the game scene, and in the game scene we have this thing called self balloons, which is a sprite group containing a set of balloon sprites. And what are we doing with these? So we loop over them to see if arrow hits, and if an arrow hits a balloon, we remove that balloon and add a new balloon. So this part right here is kind of part of this balloon spawning functionality. And I think it would be nice if we could talk about the balloon spawning functionality in isolation. So I'm thinking that we should extract a class called balloons and forward messages to that class instead of modifying the sprite group directly. So let's see how we can do that. So let's just create a class called balloons, and let's make it inherit from a sprite group, just like that. Let's start with that. And then up here, where we create it, we should be able to say, instead of creating a new sprite group, we should be able to create balloons. Nope. Because I can't spell balloons. There we go. So balloons is a sprite group, so we can still do everything that we did before. Not sure if it's going to be a sprite group later on. We might want to hide that, but for now the refactoring becomes easier if it is a sprite group as well. Maybe we can also move this init functionality to the balloons class. So instead of passing this list of balloon objects to balloons, we just pass in the list of balloons. So let's move more and more functionality into this balloons class. So first of all, let's add the init. Let's just add it like this first. So this will not work because we need to init the sprite group as well. Right. Oh, init takes one positional argument, but two were given. So we need to positions. We need this one as well. And now it will balloons object has no attribute sprites. Right, that's because we're not initing the sprite group. And that should work. Maybe not, because we're not forwarding these positions, and these are not actually positions. So let's see. Let's just make that work by adding this part right here. Oops. Balloon point for in positions, and here we can just say balloons. No. Balloons is hard to spell, I guess. Alright, so we have some functionality in balloons. Everything's working. I trust my tests, so let's commit this. So let's see if we can move this looping stuff into the balloon class. So what if we write something like this? Get balloon hit by arrow. We do something like this. For balloon in self get sprites, if arrow hits balloon, then we return the balloon. Let's see if that is usable. So hit balloon is self dot balloons get balloon hit by arrow. That should work. No. Game scene has no attribute balloon. Line 258. It's called self balloons. There we go. And now I think we can do if hit balloon, then we do this and say this should be the hit balloon instead. No. Hit balloon, hit balloon. Difficult spelling. Hits balloon. Hit balloon. There we go. No. Hit balloon is not defined. Oh, spelling, so hard. There we go. So now we've moved a bit more functionality into the balloons class. Let's commit this. So this is actually part of spawning. So let's create a method for that called spawn new, and it will do that, but like that. And we could call it here spawn new. That should work. Let's commit that as well. So now we can actually talk about balloon spawning more in isolation with this balloons class. Let's work on making the balloons go downwards instead. And let's make so just add some notes here. Balloon moves downwards and balloon outside screen is removed. Let's test for that as well, because right now the balloon is just wrapping around, so it will never go outside the screen. What do I want to do first? Let's just see. Let's write a downwards test here. So create a new balloons. Balloons. Let's create one at 50, 50. Then we do balloons update with a number, and balloons get sprites. First one should be a balloon where the X is the same and the Y is incremented. Let's see what we get. So we get a balloon object. Okay, can we get the position from a balloon? Balloon. Yes, we can get the position. So let's say get position. We can even add a test like this. So that position should be 50-50. Does that work? Yeah, so we're just asserting that, yeah, we have the position that we gave in the init. And then we update, and then we get a position, and let's do X, Y, and say that X is 50 and Y is larger than 50. Should be true. So X is not 50, it's 51.5. So let's see if we can work on that class. Balloon update. So let's just change this to Self.position. Let's steal this one. And we move dy downwards. Okay, so now we're getting a test failure at line 45. So this is checking that the balloon is drawn animated. A better way to check this is to just say len of this set is larger than 1. In this test, we don't really care where the balloon is drawn. We just want to make sure that it moved in some direction. We don't want to check that here. Okay, so let's try the game and see what this looks like. Yeah, so it moves downwards and I didn't have time to shoot it. And now my suspicion is that it just keeps going downwards, but we can't see anything. So we need to work on spawning new balloons and removing the ones outside the screen. So maybe not commit just yet. Let's see if we can spawn new balloons first. Let's see. I'm thinking that I'm gonna do something like this. So initially there is one balloon. Get sprites, and the length of this should be 1. On the tests. Alright, and then when we do an update, there should be 2. But there's still 1. So I'm thinking the logic here will be that it will keep spawning balloons until there is like a certain amount. Yeah, so let's say we want to get, let's say we want to have 3 balloons in the air at the same time. So when update will spawn new balloons until we have the expected number. So let's see if we can implement this. First we need to forward the update to the sprite group. And then we can do our thing. So while self get sprites when is less than 3, self spawn new. How about that? So I think another test is failing now. Let's have a look at that one. 191. Arrow colliding with balloon. So we create a scene, get the number of balloons. It's 1. Get flying arrows, then we update. Do we need to check? I don't think we need to check this. How about if we remove that one? Is it relevant to check that the number of balloons? I don't think we need to check the balloons at all. We just say we want to check collisions. So here there are no collisions. And yeah, flying arrows is one. Okay, so let's have a look. I suspect there will be one more test failure here. Yeah, so new balloons. Let's see if we can write this test better. So here we're creating the balloon and the arrow at the same position. And I think we need to keep these balloons around. Oh yeah, we need to do it like this. Okay, so we have one balloon. We update and new balloons. We don't want to check new balloons, but we want to check balloons 0 in balloons should be false. In new balloons, in game balloons. There we go. So we can make it clear by saying initial balloon being shot down is balloons 0, and then we can say balloon. There we go. Okay, so let's try running the game. So yeah, I think we have multiple balloons, but they are drawn like at the exact same position, or almost. Yeah, so we can't actually see that there are multiple balloons, and they are not removed when they hit the bottom. So let's see. It moves downwards, so let's see if we can test that they are removed when they go outside the screen. And we can also work on that spawning should randomize the X position. So let's see. Spawn should randomize X. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna write the test for outside screen like this. So balloons, create new balloons, and let's place it far outside, 1,000. And let's say balloon is balloons dot get sprites. Should work. Let's run the tests. And then we can say balloons dot update, and then say balloon is in balloons get sprites should be false. balloons. But it is true, right? Balloon, let's fix this name. And in order for this to work, we also need to include the space, outside screen space. Let's see how that is used. We have outside screen space is passed to the game scene. Let's copy this. And we can pass it along to balloons, so space. And now it also takes space. Let's save that. And now we should be back to only one failing test. And we need to include some space for this. Space, space, space. So let's make this one, this space 100, 100. All right, so outside screen space, how is it used? What methods do we have on space? Space, arrow hits space, arrow hits. No? Where did it go? Arrow hits space. Space hits, so this is what it looks like. It takes an X and a Y position. All right. So update for balloon in self.getSprites if self.space.hits, was it? Balloon get position. I think we need to do like this as well. Then self remove balloon. So many errors. Int object has no attribute X. Okay, let's have a look at this outside space. I think it's in geometry, is it? Outside. Okay, so it takes a position and a margin. Okay. So this should be, I think we need to do like this because I don't think get position returns. Let's do a margin of, I don't know, 10. There we go. So if we run the game now, I expect the balloons to keep flowing. And I don't know if it's possible to see, but I think this is not a perfect circle because we're actually drawing 3 circles like almost on top of each other, just offset by a little bit. Oh, I want to check one more thing. Do we get, how many points do we get when we hit this cluster of 3 balloons? I expect to only get 1 point, but we got 3 points. So all 3 balloons were hit. Interesting. I was not expecting that behavior. So let's make a note of that. Arrow should only hit 1 balloon. Alright, but balloon outside screen is removed. So let's see if we can document these tests a bit more. Balloons outside the screen is removed. And let's see, what was this? It spawns up to 3 balloons, and balloons move downwards. Maybe this test we want to do only in balloon, because how the balloon moves is actually in the balloon class and not in the balloons. There's no information in here that moves the balloon. It's done by this column right here, which in turn calls update on the balloon, which moves it. So maybe move that test. Move to balloon. All right. So before we can commit this, I think I want to fix this one. And let's see if we can do that. Spawn new. So X, I mean, we need to get the width. We can do that from the screen. So let's do this. Self.x is self.space get random x. That fails in a lot of places. And in geometry we have this outside screen space, so let's add get random x, return 50. And then maybe we can just do random here. How does random work in Python? Let's see. Random, help random. What do we have? Random class. Do we have a function as well? Random. Rand int. Both endpoints. So we want to do something like, let's try this. Return random dot rand int 0 and let's run the test and see. Whoops. Okay. What does it say? Has no attribute width. No? Alright, so this actually works. We didn't test this random thing. Randomness is difficult to test. We need to create, if we want to test this, we need to wrap this random stuff in an infrastructure wrapper so we can control what numbers it returns. And for this, I also want to say, let's do a margin here. So we say 0, so from margin to self.width minus margin times 2. Let's do that. So we don't want to have a balloon at x0 because half the balloon would be outside. So here we would like to say, do we have the radius of the balloon? So I don't know. Let's do something like 50. Empty range. Yeah, because we're using 100 and 100 here. So we're asking for an integer between 50 and 50. Between 50 and 0. So let's do, I don't know, let's do 500 here. This is a bit shaky. What failed now? Empty range again. Oh, I changed the wrong screen space. So let's see. I want to change the screen space here from 100 to 500, 500. So we'll make a note about that as well. See if we can improve these tests. But let's have a look at the game now. Yeah, so now we're getting 3 balloons and they respawn at different x positions, and if we shoot, yeah, woohoo! Now turning actually becomes important. Yeah, I think now when they're moving downwards, I think they're moving a bit too fast. So let's see if we can fix that. At least for like an initial level, I think the speed should be much lower. So do we have a speed variable for balloon? We have update speed. So let's extract this to speed. And do it a little smaller. Let's see if the test still passed. They should pass, I hope, because we don't want to make the test depending on speed. So yeah, now it's now we have some more time to spawn balloons. Are they all? Yeah. Wow. I think this is actually, maybe this speed is good for like an initial level, but maybe it can go faster and faster. Let's have a look at the respawning. If it's outside, spawn more. Yeah. I think I'm happy with this. Let's have a look at our to-dos. Should randomize X position. It's actually done. Arrow should only hit one balloon. Let's see if we can have a look at that before we wrap this up. So, get balloon hit by arrow. I guess here we want to break here. If the arrow hits a balloon, we don't want to. Where did we remove the arrow? Oh, we only remove the arrow when it hits space. We also want to remove it if we hit the balloon. Let's see if we can test that. So that needs to be tested in here in the game scene. Let's run the tests. Let's see, game scene, do we have any tests for this? Arrow flying outside screen. We have arrow hitting balloon, arrow colliding with balloon, yeah. So here, let's see if we can improve this test. So, create a game scene, we have balloons, balloon being shot down. Let's also check here game get flying arrows, check length, should be one, and if we update, should be 0. And it's not. So let's move this up here. Let's say if arrow hits, if hit balloon or arrow hit space. Right. I don't think we. Now when we randomize the X position, this is a little bit harder to verify in game. But we can see, yeah, we can see that the arrow is now removed. So if we don't have this, let's revert this a bit to what we had before. So now if we shoot a balloon, we can see that the arrow keeps going after we hit the balloon. I mean, an arrow is much stronger than a balloon, so it would make sense for the balloon to just pass through one arrow and go into the next one. And in that case, it would make sense, like if 3 balloons are on top of each other and the arrow goes through them, it will shoot down all 3 balloons. So I don't know, should an arrow... I think normal arrows should just... they should disappear when they hit the first balloon, and maybe there can be like a super arrow that just keeps going. Maybe that will be a fun game concept. So let's go back here. Let's make sure the test pass. And let's run the game again. And now we should be able to see that as soon as the arrow hits, it disappears. Let's see if we can get a case where would actually hit 2 balloons at the same time. I don't know. I think I'll trust my test. Let's try some with the gamepad as well. Yeah, so now you actually have to turn to hit some balloons, which is more interesting, I think. I think the game is much more interesting now with this change. So we can also think about what should happen with the balloons that hit the bottom. Maybe in this game we could be like at sea, so the balloons hitting the bottom will just stay floating in the sea, but you can't hit them because you cannot hit below your point. And then maybe like if there's enough balloons in the sea, it will be game over or something like that. But